Jai Gurudev. Bela, you can get started. You can start with Om.
Om. ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ नवमोऽध्यायः राजविद्या राजगुह्ययोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच इदं तु ते गुह्यतमं प्रवक्ष्याम्यनसूयवे ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितं यज्ञात्वा मोक्ष्यसे शुभात्। राजविद्या राजगुह्यं पवित्रमिदमुत्तमं प्रत्यक्षावगमं धर्म्यं सुसुखं कर्तुमव्ययम्। अश्रद्धधाना पुरुषा धर्मस्यास्य परन्तप अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते मृत्युसंसारवर्त्मनि। मया ततमिदं सर्वं जगदव्यक्तमूर्तिना मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि न चाहं तेष्वस्थितः न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम्। भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थः ममात्मा भूतभावनः। यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यं वायु सर्वत्र गोमहान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय। सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकां कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम्। प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम् अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात्। न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय। उदासीनवदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरम्। हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते। अवजानन्ति मां मूढा मानुषीं तनुमाश्रितं परं भावमजानन्तः मम भूतमहेश्वरम्। मोघाशामोघकर्माणः मोघज्ञानाविचेतसः राक्षसीमासुरीं चैव प्रकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रिताः। महात्मानस्तु मां पार्थ दैवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रिताः भजन्त्यनन्यमनसः ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम् सततं कीर्तयन्तो मां यतन्तश्च दृढव्रताः नमस्यन्तश्च मां भक्त्या नित्ययुक्ता उपासते ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम् अहं क्रतुरहं यज्ञः स्वधाहम् अहमौषधम् मन्त्रोऽहमहमेवाज्यम् अहम् अग्निरहं हुतम् पिताहमस्य जगतः माता धाता पितामहः वेद्यं पवित्रमोङ्कारः ऋक्सामयजुरेव च गतिर्भर्ता प्रभुः साक्षी निवासः शरणं सुहृत् प्रभवः प्रलयस्थानं निधानं बीजमव्ययम् तपाम्यहमहं वर्षं निगृह्णाम्योत्सृजामि च अमृतं चैव मृत्युश्च सदसच्चाहमर्जुन त्रैविद्या मां सोमपाः पूतपापा यज्ञैरिष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अश्नन्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देव भोगान् ते तं भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकं विशालं क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्ना गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम् येऽप्यन्यदेवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्त्य विधिपूर्वकम् तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्त्य विधिपूर्वकम् अहं हि सर्वयज्ञानां भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च न तु मामभिजानन्ति तत्त्वेनातश्च्यवन्ति ते यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन्यान्ति पितृव्रताः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्या यान्ति मध्याजिनोऽपि माम् पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि समोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेषोऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम् अपि चेत् सुदुराचारो भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यक् व्यवसितो हि सः क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वच्छान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति मां हि पार्थ व्यपाश्रित्य येऽपि स्युः पापसो मां हि पार्थ व्यपाश्रित्य येऽपि स्युः पापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा शूद्राः तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम् किं पुनर्ब्राह्मणाः पुण्या भक्ता राजर्षयस्तथा अनित्यमसुखं लोकम् इमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम् मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मध्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यसि युक्तैवम् आत्मानं मत्परायणः ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे राजविद्या राजगुह्ययोगो नाम नवमोऽध्यायः ॐ तत्सत् अथ दशमोऽध्यायः श्रीभगवानुवाच भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्तेऽहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकाम्यया Hari Om. I will repeat 20th shloka, or I should start from I will repeat from the 20th, I believe. त्रैविद्यामां सोमपाः पूतपापा यज्ञैरिष्ट्वा स्वर्गते प्रार्थयन्ते लोकं वश्नन्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देवभोगान् Traividyah, those who know the three Vedas. Those who perform the ritual in which Soma is offered. Puta Papaha, those who are purified of their papas. Me, Yajna, with rituals. Ishta, having appreciated. Swargatim Prarthayante, they pray for going to heaven. Punyam Surendra Lokam, the world of Indra, which is a result of their punya, asadya, gaining, divi, in heaven, te, they, divyan, deva bhogan, the heavenly enjoyments of the celestials, ashnanti, enjoy. Traividyaha somapaha, putapapaha, Mam yajnaihi ishtva swargatim prarthayante punyam surendra lokam asadya divi te divyan deva bhogan ashnanti. Those who know the three Vedas, who perform the ritual in which Soma is offered, and thereby being purified of their papas, having propitiated me with rituals, they pray to go to heaven. Gaining the world of Indra, which is a result of their punya, they enjoy the heavenly enjoyments of the celestials in heaven. Traividyaha, those by whom the three Vedas, the Rig, the Yajus, and the Sama are studied. Each one of these Vedas is a Vidya, and all of them together are called as Three Vidya. These people have studied, all the three of them are called Three Vidyaha. Three Vidyaha, Shamyata. Trai Vidyaha. These people have learned how to chant them and perhaps also know how to perform rituals. Somapaha. Here is a good example of how a translation can be misleading. The literal translation is conversant with the lore of the triple Vedic texts, Rig, Yajus, and Sam. They drink the Soma juice and are cleansed of their sins by that very drink. Shankara says, Tenaiva Soma Panena Puta Papaha Shuddhai Kilbishah. By this drinking of Soma, they are cleansed of sins. But that is not what is meant here. It is not to be understood that that by merely drinking the Soma, they are cleansed of their sins. This is a technical expression. How should it be interpreted? Somapas are those who drink Soma. There is a ritual called Soma Yaga, which is done for gaining Punya Loka. In the ritual, the juice of a creeper called Soma is offered to the Lord, and the worshippers take whatever is left over, the Shesha, as Prasad. Those who perform and participate in the Soma ritual are therefore called Somapas. So Somapas are people who have performed these rituals and who have partaken the Soma as a part of the ritual, not those who merely drink the Soma juice. Therefore, technically, the word Somapa stands for the one who has done the Soma Yaga. Yaga, Soma Yaga. Such people are Puta Papas. Puta Papas, relatively free from wrong actions. The purification talked about here is not elimination of ragadveshas, because they have shraddha, they avoid actions that are not to be done. The karmas and do these kamya karmas, rituals prompted by desires. There is nothing wrong in that, because these karmas are Vedic and are in keeping with Dharma. They also perform daily and occasional prescribed rituals, cleanse them of the effects of any wrong action they may do. Thereby, they become Puta Papas, cleansed from papas, and are able to do this ritual. They do not do any terrible deeds, and whatever small wrongs they may do are neutralized by doing the prescribed duties, nitya naimittika karmas, that they do diligently because of their shraddha in the Vedas. That is a wonderful thing. Even though they are doing kamya karmas, as long as they follow dharma, one day they will gain viveka. At this time, they lack the viveka because they are performing these rituals for better lokas. They are not karma yogis. They are prayerful, faithful people. But at the same time, they are only interested in obtaining desired ends like heaven and so on. Because they have not properly ascertained what they are seeking. I repeat, they are prayerful, faithful people, but at the same time, they are only interested in obtaining desired ends like heaven and so on, because they have not properly ascertained what they are seeking. They lack Purushartha Nishchay, Artha, security, Kama, pleasures, and Dharma, Punya, become very important to them. All these three Purusharthas are really worthless, but they pursue them because they do not know what they are really seeking. Over the shoulders of all these three, they are aiming at moksha, freedom. Because they do not pause and ask, am I a seeker? Why am I seeking? These three pursuits become so important. Mam yajnaihi ishtva swargate prarthayante. They pray to me, Parmeshwara, through the forms of Indra, Varuna, Agni, and all the other devatas, having worshipped me or having invoked me by various rituals like Agni Soma. What do they request? Swargati, going to heaven or land which is heaven. They have heard that they will have a lot of pleasant experiences there and can remain there for a long time without aging. It is a kind of relative immortality. This promotional material for heaven is available in the Veda, supported by the Puranas, etc. Naturally, without thinking, they pray to me for going to heaven. Te punyam surendra lokam ashadya. Asadya. These people gain Surendra Loka, the world of Indra, the lord of all the celestials. This world is called Punya Loka because going there is the result of good karma. Heaven is called Punya Loka here in the sense that it is the result of Punya Phala. Punya alone is useless. You have to engage it. Even money is like that. You have to convert it into a house, a swimming pool, a Mercedes car, etc. to enjoy the benefits. This is all Punya Phala. The result of Punya, which they gain by all the rituals they perform, is going to the heaven called Surendra Loka. Once they have reached there, what do? Ashnanti, they enjoy with the eyes and ears. In heaven, it seems you get satisfied merely by seeing. If you have hunger, you need not eat at all. The sight of all the edibles is enough. Then there are more subtle pleasures like music, etc. In heaven, the sense organs are predominant and their enjoyments are out of the ordinary. What do they enjoy there? Divyan Deva Bhogan, the heavenly objects of enjoyments. Divya is heavenly, not what is known here. Shankara says, I repeat, what do they enjoy there? Divyan Deva Bhogan, the heavenly objects of enjoyments. Divya is heavenly, not what is known here, Shankara says. The dance and music here in this world is nothing compared to what you will see there. They are Divya Bhogas, heavenly enjoyments, not these worldly ones. Where do they enjoy these? Divi, in that heaven. They are Deva Bhogas meant only for the celestials, not for mere mortals. But there is one catch in all this, and that he tells in the next verse. Te tam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam kshine punye martyalokam vishanti evam trayi dharmamanuprapanna gatagatam kama kama labhante. They, tam, that, Vishalam, vast, Swargalokam, heaven, Bhuktva, having enjoyed, Kshine Punne, when their punya is exhausted, Martyalokam, the world of mortals, Vishanti, enter, Evam, in this manner, Trayi Dharmam Anuprapanna, Trayi Dharmam Anuprapannaha, following the rituals in the three Vedas. Kama Kamaha, those who are desirous of various ends. Gata gatam, the condition of coming and going. Samsara. Labante, gain. These people, having enjoyed that vast heaven, when their punya is exhausted, enter the world of mortals. In this manner, following the rituals in the three Vedas, those who are desirous of various ends gain the condition of coming and going samsara. Swargalokam Vishalam, the vast heaven. The vastness is in terms of plenty, in terms of variety, and also in terms of time. Having enjoyed Bhuktva, this vast Swargaloka, when all the punya is exhausted, Kshine Punne, what happens to them? They are simply dropped down and enter the world of mortals. Martya Lokam Vishanti. They thought they were immortals, amartas, when they were there. Suddenly they become mortals. Kshamyatam. Having enjoyed Bhuktva, this vast Swargaloka, when all the punya is exhausted, Kshine Punye, what happens to them? They are simply dropped down and enter the world of mortals. Martya Lokam Vishanti. They thought they were immortals, amartas, when they were there. Suddenly they become mortals. They find themselves in another type of world where everything is different. The body, birth, childhood, and all its problems. A place where death looms large and which is full of bugs and people who irritate you, where death is the rule and change is the routine. Thus, they enter again the very place from which they sought to escape. They return to square one. If you realize that, you are developing viveka and vairagya. These types of statements are meant to make you turn towards yourself. The Shastra always tries to drive you to a corner from where you cannot but seek moksha. The cause for these people going to heaven is punya. So their stay there will last only as long as the cause remains. The physical body they enjoy in heaven is earned by previous punya karma. And for every experience they have there, they have to encash some of their punya. When the last of the punya is exhausted, kshine punye, they come to the world of mortals. Martya lokam vishanti. From this, it is very clear that what is called amarta loka is really not amarta, immortal. Here is where a mistake is often committed, because heaven is prescribed in the Shastra as Amarta, which is Amarta. Kindly correct me if my pronunciation is wrong. Amarta, which literally means that which is not subject to death. Heaven is misunderstood as eternal. But the immortality here is relative. With reference to our life time frame, Swargaloka is considered relatively eternal. One day of the Devas is much longer than one day here. Most of the theologies have adopted this Vedic concept of Amartaloka as an eternal heaven, but it is a referential eternality. not timelessness, not moksha. This is why when the punya, the cause for them to go to heaven and enjoy the heavenly enjoyments day after day is exhausted, they come back and they cannot extend their stay by doing new karma and gathering new punya there because they have no doership there, only enjoyership. Therefore, they come back.
So there are important differences between heaven and moksha here.
Yes.
One is that
Yeah.
one is that people who seek heaven, the kamya kamis, all those kama kamis, and those who want to do punya in order to gain heaven, they are the ones who go there. And punya, like money, has to be encashed. It cannot just be kept. So that encashing is going to heaven, where they get all kinds of pleasures, where even by just looking at food, you get satiated. You don't need to eat. There is no doership there. There is only enjoyership. So therefore, there is no new karma that you accrue over there. The karma that you accrue is only in the Martya Loka. Whether punya or papa is only happening in the Martya Loka. Whereas when a person gets enlightened, gets moksha, what happens to his punya? Of course, he must have done a lot of good. So he must have accrued a lot of punya. But does he go to heaven? If you remember in our Tattva Bodh, we learned the punya that an enlightened person gains goes to those people who serve him, who respect him, and who serve him. And then if there is any papa that he has done, those who abuse him or humiliate him or look down upon him, that papa goes to them. So basically, a person who has attained moksha, he neither goes to, there is no bhoktritva there for him. No? There is no doership, no enjoyership. So that liberation happens while if he's a jivan mukta, right here and now. So neither punya nor papa does he need to go through. He's gone beyond those pairs of opposites. So this shloka is nice to give us that concept of what heaven is. It is referential eternity. It is not timelessness. Whereas moksha is being in that timelessness where you go beyond time. And most other religions have taken heaven to be the end. That is why they say, for them, heaven is the end. Beyond heaven, there doesn't exist anything. But Vedanta takes it one step further. And it says it's only referential timelessness. Compared to the Matyaloka, it seems as if they are immortal in the heaven. But once the punya gets exhausted, they have to come back. Yeah.
So beautiful. I just have, I don't know, little mind, that small little mind. This only enjoyership, okay? That is the difference Swamiji is talking here. No doership, only enjoyership. Could you please explain, Brahmaraji? And the kind of body they get may depend upon again their that enjoyership.
No,
they come
the
back
body
to
they get,
Martyaloka.
no. The enjoyership is only related to the punya they do. It is not related to the next body they get. The body they come back with depends upon their sanchita karma and what of that sanchita karma is plucked up as prarabdha. So their prarabdha karma will determine their the next body they take.
Okay, very clear. Yeah.
Isn't it? Because what they're enjoying there is only the punya that they have accrued.
Really true. Gahano karmana.
Isn't it? I mean, the more you
Yes.
go in deep into karma, it seems like a wonder.
Wonder only.
It's a
Correct.
mystery.
Mhm. Yeah, the
And
Balaji has. Yeah,
and just imagine we are living our life without, if we are living our life without this viveka, without vairagya, without the
Vairagya.
shraddha in all of this, how we are, I mean, we are just like one little boat on the ocean getting tossed and turned over by the waves without any
Mhm.
direction in our lives, no? So
Correct.
once you get this moksha purushartha, that gives you that direction. It's like you've yoked yourself to the goal. The pursuit then is about crossing that ocean of maya, of samsara.
Very true. It reminds me of that. Where will I be without you?
Mm, isn't it?
Can I read
Sarlaji.
Yeah,
one
please go
stanza
ahead.
of
Go ahead,
beyond?
Sarlaji.
Yeah, beyond the heaven is my abode. Come to me, come to me. Don't stop, come to me. If you get stuck in the heaven, you will return back from there to hell. Don't stop in the heaven. Come to me, come to me.
So beautiful. Dhanyavad,
How
Sarlaji.
so relevant, no, to what we're reading
Yes.
right now. I
We
can
all
only
are really,
blessed,
yeah.
so blessed. We can
Yes.
continue, Bella, and
Yeah.
in case there's a lot of disturbance, I will take over. Huh? There is
Yeah,
a little
please let
in
me know
between.
because
In between, there is some disturbance, but you continue. We'll see how it is.
yeah, and do let me know if I need to repeat because there is a continuous notification. I don't know what is wrong, but the internet instability. Mhm. एवं त्रयी धर्मम अनुप्राप्रपन्नाः. In this manner, those who follow the rituals enjoined by the three Vedas. Evam means in the manner that was told in the previous verse, that is, doing Vedic rituals like the Soma ritual and avoiding wrong actions. The threefold Veda is called Trayi here, and the word Dharma refers to karma, the things enjoined by the three Vedas, like performing a ritual to invoke the Lord or some Devata for the sake of the gain of some loka, etc. They are called Dharma because they are not against Dharma. Dharmat anapetam. Dharmat anapetam. These people pursue only legitimate enjoyments. In the Vedas, two things are dealt with: karma, which includes meditation, and jnana. Here he is talking only about those who follow the karmas enjoined by the Vedas, not jnana. Please pay attention. Very beautifully, Swamiji has differentiated. I'm repeating. In the Vedas, two things are dealt with: karma, which includes meditation, and jnana. Here he is talking only about those who follow the karmas enjoined by the Vedas, not jnana. Even though Trayi Dharma can include jnana, in this context, we have to restrict the meaning to karma. Anuprapanna means one who follows the various karmas laid out in the three Vedas. He gives a description of these people. They are kama kamaha. Kama can mean desire, the thought process by which you desire an object, or it can mean the desirable object. I repeat, they are kama kamaha. Kama can mean desire, the thought process by which you desire an object. or it can mean the desirable object. Here it refers to the desired object. And the whole word refers to those who desire these desirable objects. Kaman kamayanti iti kama kamaha. It does not mean desirers of desires. You do not have to desire desires. You have them already. So, kama kamas are those who have desires for various desirable results, desirable ends. I repeat the definition. Kaman kamayanti iti kama kamaha. Sanskrit is such a beautiful language. Kaman kamayanti iti kama kamaha. So, kama kamas are those who have desires for various desirable ends. The Vedas talk about a variety of things, but you pursue only what you want according to your maturity, viveka. What do you buy when you go to the shopping mall? Only what you are interested in. A bald-headed person does not buy shampoo, even though it is on sale. These people have Shraddha in and perform the various karmas mentioned in the three Vedas, but only for various limited ends. Shankara indicates that the sannyasa is not being talked about here, even though the three Vedas also discuss renunciation and moksha. Because Bhagavan has said kama kamaha, we understand that these people are not interested in moksha. Otherwise, Traividhyarmam anuprapannaha could include mumukshus also. Traidharmam anuprapannaha. What do they get for all their efforts? Gata gatam labhante. They gain gata, going, and agata, coming. They go and they come back. This is what they gain. It is because they went that they are back. This particular life characterized by going and coming is called gata gata, gata agata. Gatam cha agatam, cha gata gatam. Gatam cha agatam cha gatagatam. It means samsara. These people who are the desirers of various objects gain only samsara. Shankara says that they do not gain any sort of independence or freedom. Natu swatantriam kvachit labhante, but remain under the spell of the same karma, etc. They are helpless because they are caught in the hands of karma, impelled by their own desires. Again and again, they do a variety of things, and the punya papa they gather require various janmas for their fulfillment. Because of janma, they do karma. Because of karma, they have janma. Thus, they are helplessly caught in this orbit of becoming. All because they have not recognized the truth of themselves. As long as one looks upon himself as a doer, he does everything necessary for samsara to continue. Kartritva, doership, is the villain of the piece. No matter what he does, the maximum he can achieve is to go to Brahmaloka, which is also within samsara. With the help of the Shastra, he has to give up the notion that he is Karta. That takes place in the wake of knowledge. That is moksha. Again, we see here why the desire for freedom, mumuksha, is so important. So beautiful. Leaving the kartritvaship, the doership, and desiring the mumuksha, desiring for the freedom. Shankara introduces the next verse as being about those who, on the other hand, are free from desires and have a clear vision of Atma. These are the people who are not committed to the three common pursuits of dharma, artha, and kama, but are committed to the pursuit of moksha. Dharma is less common in the sense that fewer people follow dharma. Still fewer are the people who pursue moksha. Unlike the others, they are not desirers, kamas. Though moksha is also a desire, it is born of viveka and vairagya. This mumukshu, Shankara says, has a clear vision of the goal, which is the knowledge of Atma. Ananyashchintayanto ma ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Ye janah, those people, ananyaha, see themselves as non-separate from me. Mam chintayantaha, inquiring into me or recognizing me. Paryupasate, seek me, gain me. I repeat, there is a breaking of voice.
Can I, Jai Gurudev Vela? I'll take over. Don't worry.
Yeah. Dhanyavad.
Ejanaha, those people who ananyaha, see themselves as non-separate from me. Mam chintayantaha, inquiring into me or recognizing me. Mam paryupasate, seek me, gain me. Tesham nitya abhiyuktanam, for these who are always one with me. Yoga kshemam, what they want to acquire and protect. Aham vahami, I take care of. Ejanaha ananyaha mam chintayantaha paryupasate tesham nitya abhiyuktanam yoga kshemam aham vahami. If the verse is about a jnani, those people who see themselves as non-separate from me, recognizing me, gain me. For those who are always one with me, I take care of what they want to acquire and protect. If the verse is about a mumukshu, those people who are non-separate from me, inquiring into me, seek me. For these who are always one with me, I take care of what they want to acquire and protect. So the only difference when you consider it for a jnani versus a mumukshu is the jnani sees himself as non-separate and he recognizes it, recognizes this truth. Whereas for a mumukshu, he is still inquiring, he is still seeking, but he still considers himself non-separate. Those people are non-separate from, he is still inquiring, he still has not recognized. This is a very famous and often quoted verse. It has an important location. It is about the middle of the 9th chapter, which is in the middle of the 18 chapters. It can be taken in two ways, as a description of a jnani, a wise man, or a mumukshu's approach to the object of his seeking. Shankara takes it as a description of a jnani based on the words "e ananya," which he says is meant to distinguish these people from the ones Bhagavan has mentioned before in the previous two verses. The previous two verses, he's talked about the Trividya, Mam, Somapa, Putapapa, all the Kama Kamis. Ananyas are those who are not separate from me, the Lord. Does that mean that in the Lord's vision, there are two sets of people, those non-separate from him and those who are separate. That is not consistent with all that he has said so far. Therefore, Ananyas means those who do not look upon me as other than themselves, as another being. They do not see me in one form or another as someone separate from themselves. These are Ananyas, and they are never separate from me. How is this possible? These are all individuals. How can they be non-separate from Ishvara, the Lord? Shankara says that it is possible due to the fact that the Lord is the Atma of all of them. When this is so, naturally, those who recognize the Atma as Parameshvara are non-separate from him. The Atma of Ishvara is the Atma of the Jiva, and that is Chaitanya, which is one, Eka, which is non-dual, Advitiya, which is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam Brahma. Those who recognize themselves as this are called Ananyas. It is because of this word Ananya that Shankara had said in his introduction that these are people of clear vision, Samyak Darshis. All others are also non-separate from Ishvara, but they do not recognize it. The only difference between one group and the other is recognition and non-recognition, knowledge and ignorance. And that is a vast difference. These people recognize even the Ahankara as Parameshvara. There are some statements that express this. One such statement is, Yatra yatra mano madiyam tatra tatra tava pada pankajam. Wherever my mind is, there indeed are your lotus feet. It can be a prayer or a statement of fact. At another place it is said, Yatra yatra mano yati tatra tatra samadhayaha. Wherever the mind goes, there indeed is samadhi, meaning recognizing Ishvara. The mind cannot go away from Parameshvara because the mind is itself Parameshvara. It is like someone who wants to get away from space. Where will he go? There is no such space. There is no such place. This is the way in which these people recognize Ishvara. Such people, recognizing me or inquiring into me, Mam Chintayantaha, gain or seek me, Mam Paryupasate. And for them, Tesham, who are non-separate from me at any time, Nitya Abhiyuktanam, I take care of yoga and kshema. This is one of the most popular statements in the Gita. Yoga kshemam bahami aham. Kshema is retaining or protecting what you have acquired. Praptasya rakshanam kshemaha. In India, there is a convention that one writes kshemam at the top left-hand corner of a letter to indicate that there is no bad news and everything is fine. If it is a letter informing someone of a death, kshemam will be absent. The person has gone. You cannot retain what you do not have. So, kshemam is omitted. And retention here is always of what is desirable and what you want. Retaining the extra weight that you have gained is not kshema. So whatever you desire, that is kshema. Yoga has many different meanings. For example, it can mean the title of a chapter, but when yoga and kshema appear together in a compound, the meaning for yoga is acquiring what you do not have. Apraptasya prapanam. And it must also be desirable to you. Look at your life. All your concerns can come under one of these two. What is it that bothers you? Just think of any one thing. It will either be about something you want, yoga, or something you are afraid to lose, kshema. I have no peace. I want to gain it, yoga. I do not have enough money. I want to gain some, yoga. I am losing my hair, my health. I want to retain them, kshema. Yoga and kshema indicate a lot about the life for jiva. If yoga kshema is taken care of, everything is taken care of. The Lord says, I take care of these for those who are always non-separate from me. Nitya abhiyuktanam yoga kshemam pahami aham. Here, Shankara raises a question and answers it. Even other bhaktas get their yoga kshema taken care of by Bhagavan. He is the object of their prayers, and as the karma phala data, he gives the results. So how can you say he takes care of the yoga kshema of only these nitya abhiyuktas? What does it mean? He says, it is true that Bhagavan takes care of all others too, but there is a difference with these people. The object of a devotee's prayer is what is desired by him. Look at the previous verse. These people pray and offer rituals to Ishvara for a particular result, heaven. Heaven is the desired object, not the Lord. He is just the means to achieve their end. They will use anyone to get what they want, but they know the local forces are not adequate, and they know that the Lord has all knowledge, sarvajñatva, all power, sarva shaktimatva, and all compassion, sarva dayalutva. So they wish to use him to get what they want. But then look at this, chintayantaha mam, inquiring into me, mam paryupasate. They also seek Ishvara. Then what do they get? Let us consider a mumukshu here, one who wants liberation. He also prays to the Lord. But what is the object of his prayer? It is Ishvara. He wants nothing else, only to know Ishvara. My object is only to find you, he says. So I pray to know where you are, what you are. After finding Ishvara, what does he want? He says, nothing, only to know that I am one with you. Such mumukshus do not look upon Ishvara as really separate from themselves. There is a sense of separation for the time being because of ignorance. To resolve that, they are always inquiring into the Swarupa of Ishvara. If he is non-dual, he is one with me. How can that be? I am such an insignificant being. How can I be Parameshwara, the Lord? These doubts are there because there is no knowledge, only faith, Shraddha. So they seek Paryupasate. How? By Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana, with devotion and commitment. The object of their prayer, their pursuit, is only Parameshwara. They do not use Parameshwara for gaining limited ends. They are only seeking to know him. This is the difference, Shankara says. These are the Ananya Darshis, the wise people who do not care whether they are alive or dead. They are not anxious about looking after themselves, nor are they afraid of what will happen to them. They are with Bhagavan. They are non-separate from him and have no concern for their own yoga kshema. Whatever happens, happens. Everything, even their desires, are all in the hands of prarabdha karma, which is non-separate from Parameshwara. Since they recognize the law of karma as non-separate from Parameshwara, whatever takes place is Parameshwara for them. They are not using him to protect their yoga kshema, but yoga kshema is taken care of by Bhagavan himself in the form of the laws of karma. So They have no concern about their yogakshema. An ordinary bhakta is deeply concerned about his yogakshema. He has concern because he has doership, and centered on this is his entire effort for yogakshema. Being what he is, a bhakta knows that in spite of all his efforts, he will not be able to get what he wants and retain what he wants to retain. So he looks for help. As a bhakta, he performs rituals in order to get and retain what he wants. A jnani, on the other hand, is not a karta. Who is the karta then? If at all there is a karta, it is only Bhagavan. He is the creator, Srishtikarta, and sustainer, Sthitikarta, and destroyer, Samharakarta. That is what Shankara says here. Moksha is only through knowledge of Atma being Brahman, which is the cause of the world. To know this, you must inquire, and to inquire, you must have an appropriate means of knowledge, pramana. How am I going to inquire into Ishvara? Through the pramana, which happens to be in the form of words. Therefore, inquiring into Bhagavan is inquiring into words, the words of the Shastra. Thus, they seek me, they worship me by inquiring into who I am. That is the best form of worship. The jignasus whom we are talking about here are bhaktas. Bhagavan gives them an assurance. For those who are so totally committed to me, I will take care of all that is necessary, yoga and kshema. What a jignasu wants to gain and protect is knowledge. Bhagavan will take care of his concern because he is his bhakta. The idea is that Shraddha will take care of everything. When sannyasis give up everything, they do not count upon being taken care of by society or by anybody for that matter. Society does take care of them in some ways, but they do not count on that. They do not think there is a necessity for anybody to take care of them. Things will be taken care of. This is the attitude of the sannyasi. Here, however, Bhagavan assures them, I will take care of your yoga kshema. If the yoga and kshema of the wise are taken care of by Bhagavan, the seekers, bhakti, will free them from their concerns of yoga kshema. Their own commitment to Ishvara will free them from the concerns of yoga kshema. Because of their commitment to Ishvara, naturally they are not concerned about their yoga kshema. They know that Ishvara will take care of it. This is expressed as Aham Yoga Kshemam Vahami. Generally, for our yoga kshema, we use a number of forces, our own powers, our knowledge, our skills, all the resources at our command, etc. Often, that is not enough. So we invoke the Lord as well. There is nothing wrong in that. It shows that a person is mature enough to recognize Ishvara, but only as a means to accomplish his own yoga and kshema. He does not seek to understand the Lord. This is the ordinary bhakta. Whereas here, he says, these people do not seek yoga kshema. They seek me. Who are they? Ananya. Here Krishna presents himself as Ishvara, or Vyasa presents him as Ishvara. Either way, it is the same. As Ishvara, he says, these are the people who are not separate from me. They recognize me as the very Swarupa, the very Atma of themselves. They realize there is no separate Ishvara because Ishvara by nature cannot be separate from anything, including me. Even looking at it from the physical viewpoint, Ishvara's body will include my body. If the whole creation is taken as Ishvara's body, my body is included. My antakarana is also included. So even from the standpoint of the body, there is nothing other than Ishvara. From the standpoint of Atma, Aham, which is the main thing here, There is no separation whatsoever. The Jiva is non-separate from Ishvara. Ishvara's Atma is Jiva. Jiva's Atma is Ishvara. From the standpoint of Maya Upadhi, there is Ishvara. But the Atma of Ishvara is nothing but the truth of the Jiva, the Chaitanya Atma. And the Jiva's Atma is nothing but Ishvara. There is only one Aham, this limitless Atma, which is the truth of both the Lord and the individual. Those who recognize this identity are called Ananyas. How did they become Ananyas? I think we'll stop here. How much more of this is there, Vila? Can you just go down further? I think it's a little more, no? So maybe I will just read this part. So then we, of course, will have to redo this one more time.
Yes, tomorrow I believe, I mean, we have to read.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful it is.
Of course, it's very, very significant. Can you just scroll up a little bit? How did they become Ananyas? Mam Chintayantaha. Thinking of me, not their yoga and kshema, they are committed to the pursuit of the knowledge of me, Ishvara. Inquiring into Parameshvara is the aim of their life. They are jignasus. They are not making efforts for their yoga kshema, but for the discovery of Ishvara. Shankara presents the Ananyas as jnanis, sannyasis. Their sannyasa is not a lifestyle, but a renunciation characterized by the knowledge, aham akarta, I am a non-doer. They know that they have never done anything at any time, and they're not doing anything even now while talking. They know that while performing all these varieties of actions, Pashyan, Shrinvan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Swashan, Pralapan, Visrijan, Grindan, Unmishan, Nimishan, Napi, they do not perform any action. Pashyan, seeing, he says, Aham na pashyami, I do not see. Shrinvan, hearing, he says, Aham na shrunomi, I do not hear. What he means is, this self, the meaning of I being what it is, Atma performs no action. But in its presence, all activities take place. I am in the form of consciousness, in the presence of which the mind is mind, the senses are senses. With the mind desiring, with the intellect deciding, I perform action with the organs of action. Manasa sankalpya, buddhya nischitya, karma karomi karmendriyaihi. This is jnana. E janaha paryupasate. Those people seek or recognize me in all the states of experience. That is why the prefix pari is used for upasate. It means at all times, in all states of experience. Who are they? By seeking Parameshvara seriously through Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana, enjoying the Amanitvadi qualities, they have become Nitya Abhiyuktas. Those whose minds are always awake to me, who have recognized that they are never separate from Atma. Their minds do not come in between themselves and the vision. Abhiyukta means endowed with Amanitvadi virtues. These people have gone through the whole process and therefore have no inhibiting factor to their knowledge. They are Nitya Abhiyuktas. Shankara introduces the next verse by raising the objection we saw in detail earlier. Since we say everything here is Ishvara, other devatas are also not separate from Ishvara. So, whether the devotees worship Krishna or Rama, Allah or the Father in heaven, all of them worship only Ishvara. Nobody worships a devata other than that Parameshvara. So, would he not also look after the yogakshema of these devotees? Why has Bhagavan singled out the jnani or the jignasu? It is true, satyamevam. but there is a distinction. This is too good. So this verse, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ejanaha Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham, is the midpoint of Bhagavad Gita. It is the middle of chapter 9, and it is the midpoint of the whole Bhagavad Gita. And it is such a profound verse. I think it's worth doing once, twice even. So I think we'll just close our eyes once. I know we have just a few minutes for Manana. The previous verse was Traividya Mam Soma Pa Puta Papa Yajnairishva Swargatim Prathayante Te Punyamasadhya Surendra Lokam Ashnanti Divyan Divi Deva Bhogan Te tam bhuktva swargalokam vishanti kshine punye martyalokam vishanti evam trayi dharma manuprapanna gata kama kama labhatte ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. I think we'll just close our eyes for a few seconds and let's come up. I know this has been so profound. I think each one of us will have some takeaway or the other. Jai Gurudev. So living a life of being a jignasu is where you are not worried about your yoga kshema. You believe in the laws of karma, that Ishvara is the karma phaladata, and he is the one governing your life. And he's the one taking care of your yoga kshema. So you don't focus on that, you just focus on him. And he takes care of everything. Yeah, I would encourage everyone to share. We'll share for 5 minutes. Of course, we will do this again tomorrow. And I think we'll... no wonder this is the Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham is the motto of the Life Insurance Corporation of India. You know how much of insurance guarantee is Bhagwan giving us here with this verse? Only out of ignorance we think we have to take care of our yoga kshema. And we end up seeking desirable objects and retaining them and thinking we are the ones taking care of we have to take care of them. How foolish it is for us to think like that. there anyone else who wants to share? So we'll come to chapter 6. So Arjuna is asking Krishna, Etanme samshayam Krishna chetumarhasya sheshatah vadanya samshayasyasya cheta nahyupapadyate. He's talking about yesterday. We looked at how he talks that Chinna Brahmiva Nashyati. He says, will a person who is wanting to gain you, having not gained, like a little cloudlet, will he just fizzle out? And now he's talking about only you can destroy this doubt. Krishna, O Krishna, may of mine, etat, this samshayam, doubt, asheshatah, totally, chetum, to eliminate, arhasi, you should, he for, tvadanyaha, other than you, asya samshayasya, of this doubt, cheta, the remover, na upapadyate, is not there. Krishnam, may एतत् संशयम् अशेषतः चेतुम् अर्हसि हि त्वदन्यः अस्य संशयस्य चेता न उपपद्यते. You should eliminate this doubt of mine totally, O Krishna, for other than you, there is no one who can be the remover of this doubt. Arjuna knows that there was no one else who could answer his question. Only the all-knowing Krishna as Ishvara could answer it, because only Ishvara knows what will happen to the sannyasi after he dies away from this life without gaining knowledge of the self. Cheta means the one who cuts or removes. Here, it refers to the one who removes the doubt. Krishna then was a hitman for the doubt. In fact, the only possible hitman. He alone was capable of eliminating Arjuna's doubts totally. Anyone else would have to say, this is what the Shastra says. Whereas Krishna is the one who initiated the Shastra itself. As he said at the beginning of the 4th chapter, I gave this eternal knowledge to Vivaswan. Who gave it to Manu? Who gave it to Ikshvaku? Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam. Vivaswan Manave Praha Manurikshva Kave Bravit. The first verse of chapter 4. Therefore, Krishna as Ishvara knew what it was all about. He also told Arjuna earlier that they had a number of births before, but only he, Krishna, knew these births while Arjuna did not. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vedha parantapa. From this, Arjuna concludes that Krishna knows what happens to a soul after death and therefore is the right person to talk about it. Arjuna is praising his guru here, saying that there was no one equal to Krishna, no one who could eliminate his doubt totally. In other words, no one else is qualified to answer his question. Had Arjuna not asked this question, the Gita would have ended 3 verses ago. But because Arjuna asks the question, Krishna begins talking again. So this is the second time that Gita could have ended. The first one was after the second chapter, and this is the second time that it could have ended. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Partha Naiveha Namutra Vinashastasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krit Kaschit Durgatim Tata Gacchati. Shri Bhagavan, Lord Krishna, Uvacha said, Partha, O son of Pritha, Tasya, for him or her, Vinashaha, destruction, Iha, here, Na eva vidyate, indeed is not, na nor, amutra, in the hereafter. Tata, O my son Arjuna, he, because, kaschit, anyone, kalyana krita, the one who performs good actions, durgatim, bad end, na gacchati, reaches. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Partha, tasya vinashaha, iha na eva vidyate, na amutra tata hi kaschit kalyanakrita durgatim na gacchati. Sri Bhagavan said, indeed, O son of Pritha, Arjuna, there is no destruction for him or her, neither here nor in the hereafter, because anyone who performs good actions never reaches a bad end. Again, the person being discussed in this verse is that sannyasi, that yogi who was referred to previously as Ubhaya Vibhrashta, one who had fallen from both Karma Marga and Yoga Marga for the reasons we have already seen. In fact, the person is not Ubhaya Vibhrashta because here Krishna says that there is no falling as such. For the sannyasi who has not completed the job properly, destruction is not there. Vinashaha na vidyate, either here in this world, iha, or in any other world, amutra. Why? Because this person, although an ayati, has shraddha in the Shastra. Ayati is the one who has not reached, who is not accomplished what he has to accomplish. He is not recognized yet. Having shraddha, there can be no loss for him in this life, and therefore the life of sannyasa is not a bad investment. He knows what it is all about. Because he has shraddha, there is no question of his being frustrated or sad in this world. He will simply continue to pursue the knowledge pleasantly, happily, until he gains it. And if shraddha were not to be there, the person would naturally think that he had made a mistake. Thinking so, he would always go back. In either case, then the problem of his being sad for what he has undertaken would not be there for the person. Nor will there be a problem later, that is after death. Amutra, Krishna says, he will come back to a situation that is conducive to the continuation of his pursuit of the knowledge that will give him moksha. Thus, Krishna assures Arjuna that destruction is definitely not there for him. Vinashaha tasya na vidyate. So it is like once you're yoked there, no matter how many times you're drowning in this ocean of samsara, because that thread is there, you will always come up and you will continue that journey. So all of us also in a way must have done, in our previous janmas have done some moksha purushartha was there, and therefore we have got these births. That is why we are able to also pursue this in such a way. The sannyasi never comes to a bad end. Destruction here can only mean that the person comes back to a life that is worse than before, meaning that he gains a worse birth, a lower birth than the one he previously had. But this will not happen, Krishna says. There will be a higher birth, a better birth, because the person has lived a good life. He is a kalyana krita. Kalyana means moksha, and this person has taken a step towards moksha by living the life of sannyasa. The Kalyana Krita is not a dropout or a hippie for the sake of moksha, which implies an understanding of Ishvara. The person has given up everything. And being a Kalyana Krit, the person does not come to a bad end. Durgatim na gacchati. Anyone, kaschit, who has done good action, charitable action, does not gain an undesirable end. At the worst, such a person just proceeds from birth to birth, depending on the accumulated karma that precipitates a new body. But once a person makes a step for the sake of moksha, whatever he or she has done before has already paid off. The moment the person turns his or her attention towards himself or herself, there is no going back. Taking care of anatma is for atma alone. Generally, a person only goes after anatma, not atma. This is the yoga kshema that we learned about just now. For example, the physical body being anatma, how to take care of it is also anatma. How to take care of my mind is with reference to anatma. How to take care of my money, power, family is all with reference to anatma. How to take care of my future, meaning my next body, is also regarding anatma. Like this, everyone is interested in taking care of anatma alone and struggles to do so constantly. This is so in sync with what we read in chapter 9. Anatma, for going after anatma is like going after your yoga kshema. You going after yoga kshema. In fact, all this taking care of anatma is only for taking care of atma. Taking care is not for the sake of anatma. You do not take care of the body for the body's sake. It is for your sake, atma's sake. Therefore, you take care of the anatma for the sake of atma, and in the process, you totally neglect the atma. This indeed is a wonder, and we call it maya. So what the jignasu or the jnani does, he looks at the atma and he's only taking care of the atma directly. So mam paryupasate, mam chintayantaha, that is turning your attention within. The moment a person begins to question whether he or she is doing the right thing, atma is being taken care of. And this does not take place in everyone. To ask, what is this atma that is so anxious to take care of anatma, is to question atma itself and is for atma's sake, for one's own sake alone. The person who begins to pay attention to atma, whether successful or not, has already traced his or her way back. To question what is considered to be normal is to discover that the normal is abnormal. Such a person has made a step towards moksha and therefore he or she is Kalyana Krita. Kalyana means auspicious. Therefore, moksha is Kalyana. Marriage is also called Kalyana because it marks the end of the Brahmacharya stage of life and the auspicious beginning of the Grihastha-ashrama, which will finally prepare one for moksha, the most auspicious. Moksha is the ultimate Kalyana, and marriage is a sadhana, a means for gaining the grand finale called moksha. So very beautiful. So what we'll do is, I know we've reached the end of the session. We'll just close our eyes and maybe each one of us can just give one takeaway from what we learned. We'll do a repeat of this tomorrow.
In chapter 9 also we read in some verse, I don't remember, that marriage has a meaning. I can't remember the verse there. It was mentioned in chapter 9 also.
this verse is so in sync with what we read in chapter 9. In that, all we need do is number one, to become a mumukshu. From becoming an artha, artharthi and a dharmi, from becoming a kama kami, instead of pursuing dharma, artha and kama, we turn ourselves, the first step we take is to become a mumukshu. And what is it to become a mumukshu? Is to turn your attention within and not look after the anatma, not go after anatma. Even if it is like taking care of your mind, it is like taking care of anatma. So instead, how do we become a mumukshu? For that we need pramana, we need words, we need the shastra. So through manana, shravana, manana and nididhyasana, we turn our attention within with the shraddha, the implicit faith that the yoga and kshema Bhagwan will take care of. I don't need to worry about getting what I want to desire, what I desire, and retaining what I have gained. That is not my outlook at all. I'm only reminded of the Govardhan Parvat. Although Krishna, with his little finger, raised the Parvat, he makes every other Gopa or Gopi there also put their little finger, thinking that they are also doing it. But actually, he is the only Karta. He is the only one who does. Yeah. Yeah, like Dr. Renu says, taking care of Atma, Anatma will be taken care of. Very true. So a person, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead, Brahmaraji. Your example of Govardhana is so touchy. It is so profound. Dhanyavad. We are taking care of Anatma all the time. And Bhagwan is also so compassionate, giving us that doership, that although he is the doer, but still he is allowing us to touch, keep our fingers. Dhanyavad.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful space we are in right now, but we will have to close today. I know I would love us to share a little more. Maybe tomorrow we'll give more space for Manana. So what we'll do tomorrow is repeat the shloka that we did in chapter 9, Ananyas Chintayantoma. And also in chapter 6, when we come, we'll repeat this. We'll close for today. I would just want us to, I mean, it's a suggestion that we remain in this state of being blessed. Feeling so blessed, so grateful that number one, we are given a human birth. Number two, that we even have the intention of wanting to look within, of wanting to explore and inquire. That itself is a big blessing. And just the rest of today, better for, it's a suggestion again, is that we stay in this feeling of being blessed and grateful. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. And that he is taking care of our yoga kshema.